I just about, what?
Wasn't ready.
Are you prepared now?
Go for it. Hey folks, Lester here, and I'm hanging out with my younger son, Lex. Today I'm going to make something for Lex that he's never had before. And this is going back into whenever I was about Lex's age. My mom used to make this for us. So you guys pay attention, watch what I'm gonna do, and maybe if you've never had them for yourself or for your kids, you can do this just as well.
First of all, this is my kitchen. Second of all,
this is my kitchen.
Second of all,
Lord, have I ever said this is my barn?
no, never. Never have you ever said that, ever.
I normally invite you into the barn, so I make you feel welcome.
I invited you into my kitchen. I'm just telling you that you aren't allowed.
Just go with your video. Just go with your video.
You're not gonna win in my kitchen. That's what I'm saying here. Okay. So things in our household tend to result in competition, and today is exactly like all other days, Lester. Let's compete.
As long as we agree that Lex is the ultimate decision maker here.
He's the judge.
And I will also say this. Notice my 3 simple ingredients, only one of which you have to buy each time you want to make them, because these 2, once you have them, they'll last a while. You know how much that cost?
How much?
50 cents.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We're about to see how this is gonna go.
So first step, I'm gonna take this butter flavored Crisco and put it in a pot, holds a couple of quarts, and I'll set this on the stove to get it nice and warm. So Jamie's freaking out because she says, you have way too much Crisco in there. It's going to overflow. And I'm like, Jamie, I know what I'm doing. And she goes, have you made these before? And I'm like, yeah, about 150 times. Look at my belly. I've made them plenty of times.
That the Crisco itself is going to overflow. I think when you add things to it,
Jamie,
depending upon how much you
Jamie,
add.
trust me. Trust me.
Okay, step 1 for the best donuts includes setting the oven to 350. Just ignore that. Next up, spray our pan down. We don't want anything to stick. And then, I am cheating a little today and using donut mix. This one came from Pampered Chef. But you can use a cake mix, you can make one completely from scratch if you'd like. But we're gonna actually make our own cake donuts today using this packet, in addition to making our own glaze. So while Lester doesn't disclose that his will have additional ingredients required for his outside as well, these are my outside and inside ingredients.
I just heard Jamie say that I'm going to use outside ingredients. Guys, I'm using one outside ingredient, sugar. Well, in a Walmart bag, I'm going to pour about half a cup of sugar into this Walmart bag.
Next up, take our mix, 1/4 cup of melted butter, cup of milk. Don't worry, we're not sacrificing any of poor Sissy's lunch here. Lester mentioned that I was like digging in the utensil drawer. I was digging for the whisk. And I realized that the last time that we used the whisk would have been in our hand mold project. And that didn't go so well. It turns out that I need a new whisk. So we're gonna actually use the regular old-fashioned mixer today. Here's our mix. And we are going to place in our fancy schmancy donut pan.
All right, so now that all of my Crisco has melted, I've turned the heat down to medium. And now I'll go prepare the biscuits. All right, so as Jamie stands behind me with whipping and pouring and doing all of her ingredients, I'm just going to grab a simple can of biscuits. Nothing fancy about this. I'm going to find the tab, and this is the fun part of this job. After I unwrap it, I'm going to pop them open. Guess what, guys? I'm ready to get started. I'm going to take each biscuit and separate it from the group, and I'm going to set those down gently into the grease, the Crisco. Now, I cannot do all 10 at a time because these biscuits will expand. But what I will do, I think I'll have room for 4, maybe 5. I'll go and do half the container. I'll go and do 5. Let me show you how this looks now. All right, so what I've put inside the Crisco are my 5 biscuits. They will float, and I want them to slow fry. You don't want to fry them too fast and with heat that's too hot, or else they'll burn on the outside and still be raw. I don't get this raw, but uncooked on the inside. So instead, I turn the heat down to medium, and I will do a slow cook. That way we'll make sure that they're gonna be fried evenly on the inside and the outside. All right, so I've tried to raise my camera. It's on top of the coffee maker right now, so you can see what's going on inside here. The biscuits need to be flipped over. What's happening right now is the bottom half of the biscuits are the ones that are actually frying in the Crisco, and the top half are not frying at all. So what I do is walk by every couple of seconds or so and kind of like dip them down, keep them nice and hot, and then keep them flipped over and rotated as they slowly cook or fry.
Now, they aren't the prettiest and most even. I don't know if you know that. It doesn't matter. But we are gonna bake these for about 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees.
All right, I want you to watch the color differences in the top and the bottom. This is getting closer to where we want it to be. Like I said, kind of a golden brown. And at that point, you know you're doing right. And we need the entire biscuit, which will become a donut, folks, trust me, once both sides are about that same color. So we're getting very close here. We've been going for about 5 minutes so far on elapsed time. All right, my friends, we're gonna make sure that both sides are about the same in color now. I need to flip them over, and as you can see, we have the same color on all sides, that nice golden brown. You don't wanna overcook them. At this point, I'll go ahead and remove the donuts one at a time. I'm gonna put them onto some paper towel so that they can drain and get some of that excess Crisco off of them. Now remember, we only cooked 5 in this first batch. At this point, we can go ahead and start cooking the other 5. The temperature's already good. Here's the rest of our donuts.
Sneaking a peek. They're fluffing up good. So in preparation for our donuts to come out of the oven, I have whipped together a little glaze. All this is some butter, water, powdered sugar, vanilla, and a little salt.
All right, so once your donuts are all finished, you want to make sure that you remove that Crisco from the heat. Make sure you turn that off. And once this cools off, you can put a lid over it. And guys, as long as you can keep this somewhere out of the way, you could use it, reuse it over and over, probably 10 or 15 times before it has to be replaced. So this next step's always been fun for us. All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take these little donuts that I made and put them in this Walmart bag with all the sugar. Just set them in there.
Really, Lester, a Walmart bag?
Jamie, I'm trying to let people know that you don't have to be fancy to do this quick, easy, at home. Okay, now take the Walmart bag, hold it by the little handles and kind of twist it so it doesn't spill. Twist it around, like spinning around. Now hold it right about here, and I want you to give it a nice, good shake.
Don't let go.
I don't just shake up and down. I don't want the sugar to come out. There you go. Keep shaking. All right, now, if you will do me a favor and open up that little bag, pull those donuts out and set them right on top of there. Huh? I cannot wait for you to try these.
We're done. All right, hold on. It's a little hot, Lexer. So a little trick that my mother taught me is put a flat pan on top of what you're wanting to get out and flip the whole thing over at once. Now, if all goes well, it will come out. Ta-da! Okay, so my donuts that overflowed, they don't have a hole all the way through, but what I believe that officially makes that is a place for extra glaze. It's a glaze holder. All right, it's glaze time. You want to do it while they're still hot.
Okay, come on over. All right, folks, it is the moment of truth. Now, hold on a second. Lex, Jami made a glazed donut. Is that what you're calling it? So
Yeah.
Jami made you a glazed donut. I made you a sugar donut. So both of them are donuts. That were made a little bit differently. They're going to taste differently. What you're going to do is taste each one of them. Taste one of Jami's, taste one of mine. Don't eat the whole thing for now. Just taste it. And then you're going to describe, you're going to think about it for a minute. And then you're going to tell us which one you prefer, which one is your favorite. Okay? So I don't care where you start. You can taste one of mine. You can taste one of Jami's. And we'll see how this goes. You guys at home can also be thinking about which one you would probably prefer. Whenever you get it all the way tasted, and you want to drink? You want to have a drink to kind of wash your mouth out?
No.
So you can taste, no? Okay, so it's important you get all of that out of your mouth before you taste this, because you don't want to confuse the two, okay? All right, so before you taste this over here, don't tell us yet, but kind of have an idea, like a number of how good it was to you, okay? How likely you'd be.
Like a 1 out of 10?
1 out of 10 is great. So don't tell us yet, though, but kind of have in your idea a number. And then you can't change your mind later. You got to have that number and stick to it. Okay? All right, whenever you're ready, you can try one of mine. I don't think you took a big enough of a bite. You barely even,
No.
you barely nipped it.
It's
Listen.
hard to chew it.
Okay, there's a problem here. Okay? There's a problem here. When I compare bites, I'm wondering why you barely nipped. Okay, thank you, son. I guess that's more. Okay, that's fair. We got to be equitable, Jami. You
That's fair.
got to be equitable. And it wasn't fair just to take off one time. Jami, how do you think? What would be the difficulty between 1 and 10 in making these glazed donuts? How hard was it? How expensive was it? Talk a little bit about the cost.
Well, okay, so yours is clearly cheaper. It is 50 cents for a can of biscuits, probably a quarter cup of sugar, and some Crisco. Okay.
The Crisco can be used multiple times. That was
Right.
important.
Right.
And I'm going to say this. Well, I don't guess anyone could make it because you don't want kids playing with hot grease,
no, the
obviously.
grease that's the thing is
I don't.
think the grease is
Yeah,
all
I don't
over
think you
the
want kids using using your stove either, though, with hot stuff. So I can say anyone can do them, but folks that know how to use a stove or the oven could do this.
Right.
All right, and then as far as yours, the cost.
Mine's probably a little bit more expensive just because it has more ingredients. Mine's probably around the $3 range, and yours is around the $1.50 range.
Okay, so as far as the time, you were here the whole time. Tell us who took longer to make.
Mine took longer and more cleanup, I will say that.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of important to clean up because there is going to be some stuff to clean up over here. Lex, I think that we've waited long enough. You're going to have to come back over now. Look at him already on the treadmill. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows with sugar and glazed donuts, we're going to have to require some work here to get back to that shape. Lex, okay, now listen, I'm asking you to be really mature here. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Jami's not going to be upset, nor will I. I will say that I am your dad.
Wow!
I'm totally kidding. Lex, you're going to have to talk about each donut. First of all, give us the number that you scored Jami's. Out of 1 to 10, what was her score?
8.
You gave Jami an 8, okay? Talk about what you like the most about these glazed donuts.
I like that, I think the donut itself would be like a 6, but I think since you put the glaze on it, it made it like a little bit better.
Oh, that's very powerful.
Yeah.
So the donut itself, just a 6. But the glaze, you must really like the glaze. So it's important to you the kind of icing and the topping that a treat has. Okay, so her total score would be an 8 on the glazed donuts. Jami, congratulations. An 8's a pretty good score.
I'll take an 8 from Lex tomorrow.
All right, and yeah, because Lex is pretty picky.
Yep.
Okay, son, and now how would you grade the sugar donuts?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. Stop dancing over here. No.